It's a good rule.
It is.
Ty?
Sleep ring.
Ty, look
Ty's
okay?
good. Ty's good.
Yeah.
So whenever you want, guys, it's rolling.
Okay, my name is Arthur Arsenault, I'm here with Mike Daly, and today we are going to talk about Medicare means testing. Will you please explain to myself and the folks out there, what is Medicare means testing? Because I have never heard of this subject
There's
before.
a lot of mystery around it, right? But Medicare means testing was signed into law through the Medicare Modernization Act of 2003. It took effect in 2007 and has been in effect ever since. And at that point in time, Medicare was having really the same solvency concerns they're having today. They want to generate more income into the Medicare Trust Fund. And they said, well, what we'll do is we'll surcharge the affluent Medicare beneficiaries, make them pay extra for their Medicare, give them the same coverage, but it'll generate more revenue for us. Well, they set forth these 5 levels of income brackets. Say if you're in that lowest bracket, you're okay, you don't have to pay any surcharges. If you're in 2, 3, 4, or 5, you've got to pay anywhere between around 37% to almost as much as 200% extra for your Medicare. And again, just a way to generate more revenue. You're getting the same coverage, but you're being surcharged based on your income.
Just to offset the expenses.
Exactly, exactly. One thing to keep in mind, what hasn't happened since 2003 when it signed into law, 2007 it goes into effect, is those brackets have not adjusted for inflation. This was designed to affect only affluent Americans. But the reality is, we had a little bit of recession in between those years, but in the past decade and a half, we've seen economic growth. People are making more money now, certainly, than they were in the mid-2000s. So every year, more and more Americans are reaching that $85,000 threshold as an individual or $170,000 as a couple. And all of a sudden, they're paying these Medicare surcharges saying, gee, this doesn't make any sense. How did this happen? Because your income went up, but the brackets didn't. And that is a huge difference maker in retirement because those costs really can add up.
Right, sounds like alternative minimum tax as well, not indexed for inflation.
Exactly.
Folks keep on getting
They're a
hit into
killer,
them,
yeah.
into EMT. How does it affect Medicare costs? So,
Pretty dramatically. So again, that ranges anywhere from 37% to 200+%. And here's what's even more concerning looking ahead. Beginning in 2018, brackets 3, 4, and 5 are actually going to be lowered. So folks who are already maybe in bracket 3 are now paying bracket 4 surcharges. Folks who are in bracket 4 now paying bracket 5. They didn't add a bracket 6. If you're already in bracket 5, you're okay. But a lot of folks are paying even higher surcharges now. So looking ahead, this problem, unfortunately, won't be going away anytime soon.
wow, that's pretty stressful if you ask me.
It is, yeah.
So Medicare means testing was designed to affect affluent Americans, like you said, so not a concern for most, correct? But I think you had mentioned that the brackets are going to be shrunk and they haven't been indexed. So
Yeah, looking ahead, consider not your income today, but what your income will be when you retire. That's the key. And if you're 10, 15, 20 years from retirement, I'm sure you're hoping you'll be making a lot more those last couple of years before retirement. Another factor to consider, Medicare means testing has a 2-year look back, meaning that they're going to look, say in 2017, they're looking at your 2015 income. So even if you were making a lot more before you retire and then you retire and make less, they're looking 2 years back when you were still working. Your surcharges could be a lot higher because of that.
now, if you make less money, will your surcharges be adjusted downward if you all of a sudden retire with Social Security and some pension? Maybe you have some savings, but does it get adjusted down? How do you adjust it down? How does it get adjusted?
Well, it will adjust every year, but again, it's based on the 2 years
Yes.
prior. So you may have a couple of years where you're paying those surcharges. But as your income adjusts, so will your Medicare surcharges.
That's kind of an issue because, it's based on the prior 2 years, you spent the money, then you go in that year, then you're paying some more.
Exactly.
So you had mentioned, what happens next year, the brackets are gonna be reduced, and folks are gonna still pay some higher surcharges. What can people do? I mean, what can people do? I mean, there has to be a strategy and some planning that folks like us can advise people.
Thankfully, it's not all doom and gloom. There's a glimmer of hope here, right? There actually are products available that may be able to lower your modified adjusted gross income, or MAGI. That's important because Medicare uses MAGI, and that's how they gauge your income. They measure it with what your MAGI is in a given year. So if you can lower your MAGI while keeping your regular income up at a certain level, you may actually be able to maintain your standard of living and decrease the Medicare surcharges, or maybe hopefully even eliminate what those surcharges may be by using some products and working with a financial professional to figure out what's best for you.
In your tax account, because they're gonna say this line item is affecting your MAGI, although it's, in total, it's the same income, but this line item will not affect your Medicare.
Exactly. They'll have that knowledge and expertise to see what products are best for you in that situation.
Right. All right, thank you.
Great.
Thank you for your time, and,
Do you want to do that one again with the
Yep.
products in there?
Yep, I would do that again, and then
Do
detailed
the
product.
question again, or would you use the same, I guess the question.
I would ask the question, because that way we
Okay.
can cut the whole
Good
segment in.
point, good point, okay.
okay, so the costs are gonna go up. What can folks do? I mean, it's, why don't you tell me about MAGI, modified gross income, how can they, what kind of planning can they do?
Well, this isn't all doom and gloom. There is this glimmer of hope here. You mentioned MAGI, stands for Modified Adjusted Gross Income. That's what Medicare uses to measure your income in a given year. So if you can maintain your overall income but lower your MAGI, you can keep your standard of living but spend less on your Medicare and reduce those surcharges. And you can do those potentially through certain products. There's a Roth conversion, a health savings account, a non-qualified annuity, potentially even in some cases a reverse mortgage would be an option. But again, these are things you'd want to work with your financial advisor. Even life insurance, or longevity insurance, or a QLAC. These are all products that could potentially lower your MAGI and result in hopefully significant savings on your Medicare needs testing.
Does any tax deductions affected, like, above the line, as they say? Is there any, like, tax deduction, or is it strictly gross income?
It's strictly on that gross income, so tax
Okay.
deductions won't, but again, I would urge you to, work with a financial professional who has that expertise, because there is a lot of opportunity there, but you have to know how the situation works relative to your retirement.
Right, and then it's cash flow, and
Of
then,
course.
working with cash
All
flow.
that good stuff.
Great, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what I'd like you to do is just